slaughter of hundreds of women and children. Yet word of the newest military campaigns, the latest atrocities against civilians, and the progress of the conflict itself soon overtook the sinking. Unease over being drawn into the Great War and decidedly mixed loyalties tempered the American reaction. Lusitania's sinking did not, as is often said, draw America into the conflict. Almost 2 years passed before the United States finally declared war on Kaiser Wilhelm II's Germany. Titanic continued to live on in the public imagination. Lusitania faded from memory. She became a footnote in the history of the Great War, recalled for her end and, in time, for a host of controversies surrounding her final voyage. For the last half-century, critics have unraveled conspiracies about her cargo, about the role of the British Admiralty and its First Lord Winston Churchill in her fate, and about a second massive explosion that rattled through the liner after the torpedo's impact. Titanic has become a story of passengers and people. Lusitania has become a tale of intrigue, with whispers of illicit munitions and nefarious schemes designed to draw America into the war. This is not putting too fine a point on it. Pick up nearly any book on Lusitania, and almost inevitably one encounters plots, espionage, missing wireless messages, and political machinations woven into elaborate Machiavellian tapestries. This is all the more unfortunate in that Lusitania's final story does not lack for high drama. When she went into service in 1907, Lusitania was the world's largest and most luxurious ocean liner, pride of the Cunard Line and proof that Britannia indeed still ruled the waves. By 1915, other liners had surpassed her in size and in ostentatious comforts, but Lusitania remained very much a grand lady of the Atlantic, plying her trade and attracting a glittering array of privileged passengers. In retrospect, her final voyage links two divergent threads. If Titanic seemingly ended the Gilded Age in America, so too did the First World War mark the death of the Edwardian Era in Europe. Looking back, it had seemed, at least for the privileged, a kind of long golden Indian summer before the horrors of war burst forth, a time of genteel manners and leisurely pace, elegant gowns and glittering tiaras, bewhiskered monarchs and mechanical wonders. Even during the war, Lusitania lingered on as a tangible Edwardian survivor. Yet just hours before reaching Liverpool, she fell victim to one of the modern age's engineering wonders. The human stories, all too often ignored in most works on Lusitania, provide a focus every bit as dramatic as persistent tales of conspiratorial intrigue and government malfeasance. At its heart, it is the story of a great liner in the golden age of travel, a floating palace embodying the elegance and genteel traditions of an era doomed to oblivion. Passengers on her final voyage exemplified the shifting tide of society: millionaires and merchants, automobile manufacturers and race car drivers, suffragettes and shady social climbers, Red Cross volunteers, and a witness to the shootout at the OK Corral, actors, singers, and writers, and even a pair of dedicated men who dared to live openly as a couple at a time when homosexuality was punishable with hard labor and lengthy prison sentences. All were randomly thrown together as they crossed the Atlantic. All shared the terrible trauma of her rapid, chaotic sinking. Many survivors were haunted to the end of their days by the agonizing sights and sounds they had witnessed on her decks and in the water. In this book, we have largely focused on the lives and experiences of those traveling first class, or saloon class, as Cunard called it, on Lusitania's last voyage, with a sprinkling of second-class passengers added to the narrative. We have not included those traveling third class. This decision stems not from class prejudices, but rather from practicalities. Quite simply, the lives of the wealthy and well-connected are better documented than those passengers who traveled in steerage. In assembling our cast of characters, we looked for those who were well known before the tragedy, who occupied positions of prominence, or whose lives in some manner exemplified the era and provided an unsuspected bridge to themes still prevalent in the 21st century. By focusing tightly on this select group, we've tried to illuminate their lives and times, painting in portraits to depict Lusitania's last voyage, and hopefully help the ongoing effort to put a much-needed and deserved human face to the tragedy. Prologue. Saturday, May 1, 1915. A rainy twilight fell over New York City on April 30, 1915. Spring was late that year. Indeed, an unexpected blizzard had nearly paralyzed the city 3 weeks earlier.